Okay, we've already talked about how to find your midterm rental, how to market it, how to furnish the property, how to look at numbers and analyze it. We've even discussed some of the legal concepts, but we're also going to talk about where else to market it. There's a lot of untapped potential when it comes to midterm rentals, and one of my favorite solutions is going to be looking at insurance company partnerships. So insurance companies, they're an excellent way to not only market your property, but also to get guaranteed pay, to have a tenant that's already vetted. And my favorite part is that they already have an in and exit date. And so I'll go into what I mean by that. So when you work with insurance companies, there's a lot of great temporary housing providers. You can search them on Google, and I'm going to also share with you a couple of my favorite websites that you can register their housing on. When you partner with them, you're going to be in their database once it's set up, and they're going to be able to reach out to you if they have a house or they have in need someone that needs to stay at your home. There can be a variety of different solutions or different needs that a company may look to you for. So there's temporary housing solutions. They partner with student housing. They partner for insurance claims. And then they also partner for corporate housing, which is same thing as midterm rentals. It's just a fancier title, to be honest. Or you can partner with ALE Solutions and other direct insurance providers. They work with different claims, such as those that are out of a home due to insurance issues. They work with those that are currently going through maybe a medical issue, such as somebody slipped and fell and they need rehab, or somebody's house unfortunately has damage to it and they're going to be out 2-3 months. Why I like partnering with ALE Solutions is that they're not only reputable, but like I said before, a lot of clients for both solutions, they have that in and out date. So you don't have to worry about squatters' rights or legal terms or anything along those lines. Trust me, you're going to sign a lease and you're going to want to make sure that you have that lease on file. ALE Solutions is one of the companies that they'll ask for a copy of that lease so that they have it and they guarantee that those tenants are out. If they don't, they pay. So that's a really great benefit because it guarantees you peace of mind, and then it also guarantees that you'll be able to pay your bills. When we work with different insurance housing providers, the key thing is you're going to keep your utmost professionalism, but keep it short and sweet. So make sure that you go, whether it's through Canva or any other different design platform, you can create a quick marketing tool that just has a highlight of, this is my home, these are some pictures, these are the different fees, and these are the highlights and amenities. Make sure in all of your marketing that you're going to talk about that it's furnished, the utilities are covered, the landscaping's covered. People are going to want to make sure that they have that full turnkey experience so that they don't have to worry about it when they're going through possibly a medical emergency or a housing emergency. Leveraging those that have a high reputation and a high response rate, such as Housing Solutions, is not only going to give you that peace of mind that we talked about, that guaranteed pay we've also talked about, but it's also going to expand your network tremendously. I had for myself a client that stayed in our property because they had their electric went out. Their house wasn't grounded properly and it was struck by lightning, and they had to move out to get a full rewire. People had to go in and punch the drywall, go through inspections, all that nightmare. It took 2 months. While they were going through that, they also realized that they loved the neighborhood of this house more. So they actually tried to put an offer on the house. At the time, we weren't selling that property, but it helped create a network so that she actually recommended other companies or other people that were in a different situation through her work and just word of mouth to contact my company and kind of have that networking branch of opportunity. We were able to house an additional 7 people from just her network and referrals alone. And then at the end, I was able to work with some of my partnered realtors, and they ended up selling her a house in that area and then selling the house that she was currently living in. So it's kind of a win-win for everyone. It's a great way to expand your network. You know, midterm rentals are not just about putting it on a platform and letting it ride, because as midterm rentals get more and more popular, you're going to want to uphold your reputation with a lot of the different industry markers that are not just on Airbnb. Like I said before, not everybody wants to pay those Airbnb fees. They're going to be more interested in working with a direct booking provider. So some of my favorite temporary housing solutions is going to be looking at the Temporary Housing Directory, ALE Solutions, CRS Temporary Solution, State Farm, and Amica. Those are going to be the top 5. I would recommend creating that marketing packet, sending it out to them, sharing your information, and just keeping it really short and sweet. While you want to network, you also want to be mindful of people's time. And with a lot of different housing recruiters, they want to know everything on a one pager. If you get too emotional or too into it, they're going to move on, because the job for insurance providers is emotional enough. People are scared, they're going through a tough solution. You want to show that you are fast, professional, and easy to work with. That's going to set you apart from the rest, and that's going to make you constantly booked in the insurance housing market. So now you've set up your midterm rental and you're looking at different places to market it. We've talked about Airbnb, we've talked about Furnished Finder, Housify, all these different solutions that are great. They are a lengthy process, and you're also going to get a variety of travelers. One of the best untapped markets is going to be insurance housing providers, and that's where your midterm rental comes into play. So one of my favorite websites I'll show you is ALE Solutions. Not a lot of people know this, so this is untapped market potential. Right now, ALE Solutions, they are the largest temporary housing provider for displaced families. It's really easy and a great gig for hosts because they're going to pay you directly. They vet every single tenant that's going to come into your property. They're going to handle any damage claims, deposits, anything along those lines. They're going to make sure that you're taken care of and you're paid for it, because you're doing them a favor by having these displaced families come into your homes. What I also love about it is there's a set period of time that these families are in there. So you know they're not going to be squatters or any of those lease agreements that have concerns. You also create your own lease agreement for that, just like you would any other midterm renter. But it does give me a little bit of comfort knowing that they have a time in and a time out, because they just want to go back to their homes. We just had one that someone was in the property because they had a pipe burst. Charlotte had a lot of cold weather in December, really unseasonably cold, and pipes burst all throughout the county. So unfortunately, insurance claims have been backed up for months on end, and houses have sat with not only the water, but then they've had the mold and they've had the plumbing issues and possibly electrical issues. So a lot of people have substantial damage. They're going to want to stay somewhere for 2 to 3 months. One of the best things about ALE Solutions is not only that you can see that they're a legitimate website, they have a lot of different options, they partner with a lot of different insurance companies. But the best thing you can do is you'll actually pre-register in a proactive way to market your property. So if you go up to the top, you'll see that there's policyholders, catastrophe, adjusters, register housing. That's really going to be your key. And a lot of times we talk about the differences that we see a lot of hotels are starting to try to adjust to that midterm rental model. They are not going to be the competition for midterm rental houses. If you have an apartment, look at your competition and make sure that your housing offers amenities that maybe a hotel may not, such as there's not a lot of hotels with full kitchens. They're just going to have a small mini bar. They may have a small cooktop, but a lot of times apartments, they will have in-room laundry. They'll have in the apartment, you'll have the balcony or at least an outdoor space, maybe a pool or anything. Those are similar to hotels, but at the same time, an apartment's going to be bigger, have better opportunity for living there longer. So you're always going to have that competitive edge. Now with the single family, which is more my business model, you're never going to have the same clientele that would want to stay in a hotel or an apartment. And the reason being is a lot of people come with pets, or they'll stay with bigger families because they don't want to be in a hotel or apartment with whether it's small children or pets because they need to have a yard. So when you go to register housing, you'll look at this website here and you'll put in all your information. You'll put in the property type, the description, details, amenities. Make sure, this is key, you click the furnish button. You don't want to be out of the game before you even are in it because you haven't checked some of the amenities you provide. Big thing is if you have a ranch style house, I get a lot of elderly people that come in and they want to stay during recuperating for surgery. Insurance claims also are part of if somebody does a slip and fall, unfortunately, they break their hip, their knee, and they need somewhere to stay while they're going to the rehab centers to get some of the physical therapy or external doctor care that may not be in their original town. I know from my hometown, we have to drive all the way up to Syracuse, which is like an hour and a half in upstate New York, because the best care is an hour and a half away. But I can imagine as somebody that's elderly or they're going through something significantly traumatic, they wouldn't want to do that hour and a half each way commute every time they had a physical therapy appointment. So they would want to look to their insurance or look to the different options of being able to stay somewhere close to get ready. So if you have those different options, some of the things to highlight if you want to target towards, those going through physical therapy, or those, that may not be traveling nurses, but they're, coming in for a medical solution, make sure that it's handicap accessible. So you have a handicap rail or bar, ranch style. Walk-in shower is always going to be a benefit. Taking care of the lawns and utilities. You should already be doing this from a short-term rental or midterm rental perspective, because guests are expecting a full concierge experience while they're living there, and they're not expecting you to turn down their beds every night. They are expecting you to take care of different utilities or different landscaping. Like I said, appliances are going to be big. Flooring, there's a reason they put this, and it's not because people prefer one thing over another, but if somebody is coming in for a cancer patient who is seeking treatment, they're going to less likely look at carpet because it does have more pet dander or different allergens that can be trapped in the rug that they may need to be wary of. That's one big thing when we work with the hospitals. We look at giving them our hardwood solutions, and we actually remove all of the carpets that are in the house because that's a request. But on the other hand, if you do have somebody, let's say an elderly patient that's recovering from a hip surgery, they're going to look for somewhere with more traction. So somewhere with carpet or somewhere that has rugs. So you're going to want to highlight and make sure you target your different audiences the way that you intend, because there are different insurance providers looking out as almost a human resources aspect. They're the recruiters looking at your homes to make sure that it has everything they need for these tenants. Another thing you're going to look at, if you haven't already considered, is going to be blinds or shades. So when we look at traveling medical professionals and we target, we always, as I've spoken to before, we've always talked about that you need blinds and shades for people that have different hours. Well, if they're going through surgery or if they're going to be in a lot of pain, they're going to want blinds and shades as well, because they don't want the sun blaring on them if they're uncomfortable and pain and they need to rest. So make sure you spend the extra money if you're going to target for these different clients, and just make sure that it's all set up. In notes here, big thing I like to do is I like to add my Furnished Finder or Airbnb or any of my other platform links here, just so they can get a full tour of the home. There's nowhere really to upload photos. So unless you do on the property website, you can see I have a couple Airbnbs up there in my own website. And then, or you have notes that you can actually add in. Those are going to be really key. So make sure that you add all the different deposits, such as we add a pet fee because we do have to make sure that it's allergen free after every stay. So it is more of a deeper cleaning. We have a refundable deposit that's given back after the guest leaves and we've confirmed no damage. We have the pet fee that's non-refundable. And then we also leave a clause for anyone that may rent to a garage or have a different key fob, that there's going to be a lost or damaged fee concerning that fob. So this is where you're going to put everything. So the second website I'm going to show you is Temporary Housing Solutions. Very similar to ALE Solutions. They're more not only insurance housing, but they do more of the student intern housing and then corporate executive housing. So when you look at targeting a wide variety of audiences, they're going to be another great solution to market your property. So with them, they talk about the benefits, compare, and then you could also, if you are the client itself, you can submit your claim through here. The biggest thing you're going to do is, while ALE Solutions, you can register right on their website. Instead, you're going to contact them. So you're going to make sure that you put in all your information and you send it to this email here. Usually I get a response within 48 to 72 hours, but just being able to show your property, you can copy and paste, or you can email all these different connections. You want to make sure that when you're marketing your property, you're marketing it in a way that's tactical, to the point,